We'll call our meeting to order. Appreciate everyone being here, commissioners, staff, and those in our audience. If you are not satisfied with the decision made by the Traffic and Parking Commission, you may appeal the decision by filing for a writ of concertiorari with the Davidson County Chancery of Circuit Court. Your appeal must be filed within 60 days of the date of the entry of the Commission's decision. We advise that you seek your own independent legal advice to ensure that your appeal is filed in a timely manner and that all procedural requirements have been met. We have an agenda. We have full attendance here today, and I ask for your approval for our agenda today.
So moved. I second.
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Commissioners, with your approval, item number 4, we have Downtown Partnership here with us, and Mr. Russell Payne represents them, and he's a busy man, so if you don't mind, we'll take him out of order. And Russell, if you'll come to our lectern on your left, our right, be sure that would you rather sit because you're, okay. Just be sure that the mic is on. And I want to ask for a staff report first.
Sure. And
then we'll hear you. Ms. Marshall, will you give us a staff report?
Included in your packet was the rate information that is requested from the Nashville Downtown Partnership. Staff recommendation is for approval. Mr. Russell Payne will make the presentation on the rate increase.
Mr. Payne, it's yours.
Good afternoon. I'm Russell Payne with the Nashville Downtown Partnership. I'm the Vice President of Operations. I oversee the management of the parking facilities that we manage for Metro. And what I wanted to do this morning was take you through our rate recommendations and some market analysis that we did that back up the recommendation for the rate changes. If we'll go to the first slide, hopefully you have this packet with you as well. Just some historical perspective here. The most recent monthly parking rate change was in 2007, where the rate went from 100 to 105. Prior to that, previous change was in 2005, and the special event rate was increased in 2005 again from $3 to $4. That is the evening and weekend rate, so folks can come downtown, find economical parking after 5 p.m. Monday through Friday and on the weekends as well. And then the daily rates were changed from 6 to 8 in 2010. We'll go to the next slide, which is the current rate structure. Just want to give you an overview. Right now, our short-term parking rate is $1 per half hour with an $8 all-day maximum and a $105 monthly parking rate. And we'll go to the next slide and give you a quick overview of the Proximate area that we surveyed and the rates that correspond to each one of these facilities. I think really the two or three rather items that are of particular interest is the daily max. As you look down through there, the library is the number one. You can see the majority of these parking facilities are at $12, $14, $13. The average, excluding the library, is about $12.16. That library, or excuse me, the LNC garage, it is a flat $10 as you walk in the door. So although that is the only one that's close, it is a flat rate as soon as you go into the garage. You can see the occupancy rates. They are all very high. Almost all of these were at 100%. And then you see the monthly rate where we are at 105. The average market rate is about $136.20, with many of those 150, 145, 135, so fairly high. That shows you that we are well under the market rate currently. The next slide shows the facilities that we are similar to ours and proximate to it. So that is our study area and the garages that we take a look at. Next one talks about our all-day rate. Again, I mentioned that the average rate's $12.16. We are 8. Our recommendation is to go to a $10 all-day rate. And then you can see a couple bullet points that talks about the parking facility reaching 100% capacity virtually every day. This will hopefully allow us to generate some occupancy and some turnover. The next two slides, the first slide is the library rate versus our current rate. In essence, all I really wanted to show you here was the existing rate for 8 hours, $8 rather, and then the proposed rate that will go up to $10 rather. Our average usage is for the library is $4.50, and that would put them anywhere about 3.5 hours. This rate does not increase the increment. It increases the length of time that you would have to stay to incur that. And there's a note down there that says that if you were at the library, you'd have to stay for 6 hours at the library to incur the max daily rate of $10. The next slide is our current versus our proposed transient rate. Again, it really is just showing you where you hit $8 and then where you hit 10. This would have folks hitting the max daily rate after 5 hours in the parking facility. And I think it's interesting to note that the market average daily max is attained in about almost 2 hours, a little bit under 2 hours. 1.9 hours is what the daily max is attained in. So we are giving people an opportunity to park very economically. It takes them 5 hours to hit our max daily rate, whereas the average is 1.9 hours. Next slide talks about the library space. They have 40 nested parking spaces. We do recommend that the monthly rate increase does not affect this. And I also wanted to point out that the max daily rate will virtually affect none of the library patrons, as less than 0.1% of these folks are parking long enough to hit the daily maximum rate, so their customers will not be affected. Monthly parking, again, this is just a recap. 105 current, 136 market average, and we're recommending 115. Nights, weekend, and special event rate, we are currently 4. This is well below what a special event rate is. We recommend an increase to $5 for the nights and the weekends. As you see, this rate operates that you enter actually after 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, and then you exit before 5 a.m. This is really just a way to have people be able to come down, eat, drink, go to concerts, and get out without having to pay exorbitant prices. We'll go into the rate overview. This is just a summary. Current rate, recommendation of 115 from 105 for the monthly. Daily max will go from 8, and we're recommending to 10, with the market of 12.16 average, so it was still well below. Nights and weekends 4, we suggest 5, and the market rate's currently anywhere from 10 to 20 for those special events. In closing, I would like to say that all these recommendations are going to keep us well below the market, and we are still going to be the most economical parking option in the city. And that if this is approved, we will give the monthly customers a 30-day notice. That's to be done by March the 1st when the next billing cycle goes out, and then the actual transient rate increase would go effect March 15th. And I'll take any questions.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Payne. Any questions from the commissioners?
Mr. Chair, just let me say I serve on the board of the Nashville Downtown Partnership, so I will recuse myself from any discussion or voting.
Okay, thank you.
What would be the estimated, I got it? What would be the estimated increase of revenue? If you have it, I don't.
I don't have that with me. We typically don't bring that to these. I can get back with you on it, but it just really depends on the actual number of tickets that we generated for 2012. I think about 15% of the tickets were the all-day rate, but you really don't know if that all-day rate is going to be the 9 or it's going to be a 10. But if you give an easy estimate of about 15%, that's probably going to be about 50,000 tickets maybe. So it could be close to a $100,000 revenue increase.
Thank you.
Traffic and Parking was responsible for building this garage several years ago. And it was our intent at that time not to be real competitive, but also for the citizens of Nashville to offer a good rate and not just charge what the traffic would bear. It has been some time since we've had an increase, and it appears that we're still doing this. This is our objective. We want to do this for the people of Nashville, to keep a good rate and be attractive for them. Do I have a staff recommendation or any comments?
Staff recommendation is for approval.
You've heard the report. You've heard the staff. Any comments from the commissioners?
Motion for approval.
We have a motion. Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Mr. Russell.
Thank you for your time.
Okay. I apologize, but we have someone with us that hadn't been with us for a while. Mr. Mark Macy. Mark, congratulations. Glad to have you back. Looks natural seeing you there. Okay, we'll go back to our regular order of our agenda. On our consent agenda, items on the consent agenda will be voted on at a single time. No individual public hearing will be held, nor will the commission debate these items unless a member of the audience or the commission requests that the items be removed from the consent agenda. Under new business, we have 3 items. Look through these. We'll take them all at one time unless you want to discuss any of these. If you do, we'll pull them apart. If not, we'll vote on them at one time. The first one, proposal number 2013M 002AB-002, a request to execute a quitclaim deed in relation to the abandonment of a portion of Division Street, which was approved at the January 2013 Traffic and Parking Commission meeting. And this is on our consent agenda. Proposal number 2013M 003AB-001, abandon a portion of Alley 434, easements to be abandoned and relocated from Alley 628 southward to its terminus between properties located at 2008, 10, and 12, 15th Avenue South, and at 2014 Bernard Circle. Request by Little John Engineering Associates. Proposal 2013M 004AB-001, a request to abandon a portion of alley number 1800, easements and utilities to be abandoned and relocated from alley 187 southwest to its intersection with Merritt Avenue. Request by John Kemp. Do you want to discuss any of these individually? We have a gentleman here, Jason, representing item number 3, and he'll speak if need be. If not, you're ready to vote, we'll take a motion.
So move.
Have a motion to have a second?
Excuse me, Mr. Chair. I do want to pass along a word from Council Lady Moore. She requests, and there's another item on the agenda later in the packet, but she requests we defer item number 3, and there's a bullet number 5 under your resolution. She'd also like to defer when you get to that. Now, there's a trick, if you will, to deferring a mandatory referral. Do you want to explain, Metro Legal?
Sure. Basically, when an ordinance impacts traffic and parking, it's a mandatory requirement that it be referred to this commission, and you all have the opportunity to make a recommendation on it. If 30 days goes by and after it's been referred to the commission and no recommendation is made, then at that point it can go forward and council can vote on it. Of course, if you vote it down, then they require a 2/3 supermajority to pass. But if you defer and more than 30 days passes. Yeah.
Has this bill made it to council yet? Is it on their agenda?
I don't know. We can look that up real quick.
I don't have a signal in here.
Mark, I'm sorry, what was the question?
Well, the question is has this mandatory referral been referred to the council to place on their agenda? If it hasn't, then you have time to defer till next month and still get in cycle with the council.
Good, okay.
That's what I asked. So.
According to our study, a council bill has not been filed. That is for the February 19th council meeting.
So it'd be on first reading on February 19th.
Well, it's not on the February 19th agenda at this point, so I guess that means it's on the March agenda of the council, at the earliest.
Then Mark's probably right. There probably would be time for y'all to hear it at your March meeting before it goes forward on second reading, which would be the critical reading for purposes of discussion at the council committee level.
Then Chip, what's your recommendation?
Based on that, the council information that we just discovered, I would recommend deferral. At the very least, we were going to recommend a consent agreement anyway, so it would go forward in council regardless. So at the worst, we'd hear it again in March, or it's consented through at the council meeting level anyway.
Okay, commissioners, what's your wishes? This was a request by our council person.
And I think we should honor her request and defer.
Okay. We have a recommendation from staff at the request of the council person that this be deferred for 1 month.
I'll make a motion that we defer it for 1 month.
Okay, have a motion and a second?
Second.
Okay. 2013 M 4AB-001 will be deferred for 1 month. On the other two, do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Have a motion second?
Second.
Okay, this will be by hand vote. All in favor, raise your right hand. It is unanimous, and it is approved. Okay. Item number 5, we're moving right along on our agenda. Request for complimentary parking in the public square garage for volunteers for the Cherry Blossom Festival, March the 23rd. Ms. Marshall, you want to give us a report?
According to the contract with the Nashville Downtown Partnership, any request for complimentary parking must be approved by the commission. The commission has approved this in prior years, so at this time the staff recommendation is for approval.
Okay. We have you've heard the request. We've got a recommendation from the staff. Do I have?
I make a motion for approval.
Okay, have a motion. Second?
Second.
And a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
So approved. Request from the Planning Commission for complimentary parking at the library garage for the kickoff event for the Nashville General Plan on February the 16th. Ms. Marshall?
Once again, according to the contract with the Nashville Downtown Partnership, any request for complimentary parking must be approved by the commission.
Okay.
Staff recommendation is for approval.
Okay.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
This may be a dumb question, but why does it have to come to us anyway if it must be approved?
Say that again.
Why does it have to come to the commission if we got to approve it anyway?
Or disapprove it. How about that?
Yeah.
You got to you got to approve or disapprove. They can't just go out and change their prices or give complimentary parking without you guys saying yes or
The
no.
Downtown Partnership is under contract with this department, so any changes has to be approved by us.
Okay, but they said it couldn't be disapproved, though.
It can
Approved or
be.
It has to be approved.
It can be disapproved. Staff recommendation is for approval.
Okay.
But the commission has the option to disapprove.
All right.
That's just a staff recommendation, but the commission has a right to overrule staff.
Okay.
Okay. Resolution, we're down to item number 7. Resolution 2-13. Request to modify no parking signs on both sides of Garfield from 3rd Avenue to 5th Avenue North from 7 to 5:30 p.m., 24/7. Request to install no parking signs on the south side of Taylor Street from 7th Avenue North to 8th Avenue North. And request for valet parking at 114 2nd Avenue South, 3 spaces from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m., Thursday through Sunday. Now, these will be on the consent agenda. The next one, which is the last one on the first page, request for valet parking. That's actually 3212 West End Avenue, 2 spaces from 5 p.m. to midnight for Outback Steakhouse. Now, Outback has their official address is West End, but between West End and Outback, there's a road runs parallel with West End, and that is Park Avenue. The valet parking will be on Park Avenue in front of Outback and not on West End, because West End is no parking anytime. Okay, just want to clarify that. Okay, modify existing yield sign to stop sign on South Douglas Avenue at 10th Avenue South. Authorize always stop on 5th Avenue at Hume Street. Authorize stop on Valleywood Drive at Southcrest Drive. Modify speed limit on LaSalle Court from 30 miles per hour to 25 miles per hour, and install permit parking only on the south side of Charlotte between 10th and 8th Avenue North. Along with that, we have our reports for parking and engineering. Do you want to hear any of these separate?
Yes, sir. I'd like to pull that yield to a stop on behalf of Council Lady Moore. She'd like to defer that 1 month.
Which one is that, Chip?
It was like the 5th bullet, maybe? South Douglas.
Isn't there kind of a curve in the road there?
Very pronounced curve, yes.
Very pronounced curve, and I drive that area a lot, and it struck me that the stop sign could be maybe 15
She'd like to defer that, and we're fine with that.
Okay, let's pull that one, and we'll vote on the balance. Do I have a motion?
I have a question.
Well, let's get a second, then we'll.
Okay, I'll second, and then I'll ask my
Okay.
The permit parking on Charlotte Avenue between 8 and 10?
Currently, that parking is signed as 2-hour parking. We have a request from the TSU downtown campus for additional parking, and we have determined that that area there on Charlotte Avenue would be the best solution for what they need.
Okay.
I had a question about the reducing the speed from 30 to 25 on LaSalle Court. I think we've had trouble with 25-mile-an-hour speed limits, and that is like crawling.
You're exactly right.
Is that a small street?
Very small. Corbett, can you pull up Google real quick, Google Earth? I agree with you. We very rarely recommend 25s. But on this particular case, the street's parallel to this street, and once you see this street, you'll see that it's just a tiny little roadway. The surrounding streets are 25. Somehow this one slipped through, and the neighbors would like it lowered to 25. You'd be lucky if you can get up to 25 on this road, but we're willing to recommend the change. But I'll show you the street as soon as Google Earth pulls up.
Okay.
In this new building?
Yeah.
Yes, it's down in that area, and that's why you have a lot of 25s in the area. Not necessarily under our jurisdiction, but there's some. Can you go down to the Earth, the street view, Corby?
I knew it was familiar.
Yes. I know the street. Yeah, you'd have a hard time getting a 30.
And we just wanted some consistency with the speed limits in the area, and the gentleman came to us wanting to change it, and it was hard to defend keeping it 30.
Okay, so it is a circle.
Yes, sir, a little horseshoe, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We all good on that?
Yes.
Did I get a motion?
You do.
In a second?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
With the exception of that one we pulled. All right. Jason, a minute ago on your item, I'm speaking to the one gentleman in our audience. We deferred that for one meeting. I just want to be sure you understood that.
Point of order. We still need to make a motion to defer what the council lady wanted to defer, correct? what we just pulled out. We just agreed to pull it out, but we didn't make official motion.
Okay.
And so I'll make a motion to defer the yield sign.
And I will second that motion.
Okay, thanks for reminding me. Thank you. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
So approved. Thank you. Let me remind you, if you recall, in a prior meeting, we deferred 2 months to discuss the 12th Avenue South and residential parking issue. That is scheduled to be on our agenda next month. And I would encourage each of you, and I plan to do the same, to go out there and look at 12 South, the businesses, and look at the cross streets, which is Gilmore, Carruthers, and Montrose. Look at those, look at the back alleys to see who has parking off the back alley. I expect this is going to be a very thorough meeting, and there'll be council people, there'll be attorneys here, and I would like for the commissioners to be as familiar with this as we can. We're going to have a lot of questions to ask, and it may be up to us to make the final recommendation. So if you would and have the time, appreciate you doing that.
Make a comment concerning 12th Avenue parking. In the last couple of weeks, there was an announcement in the paper that a restaurant is going to be located in the ground floor of the new apartment complex, which is zoned as a mixed use. The announcement was it's going to be a 130-seat restaurant, and just roughly doing the math, that's 50 or 60 cars that will be there. And per zoning, because I went to the Planning Commission and met with to the zoning code department, based on the usage of that building with the apartment complex and the parking that's been built, is that restaurant meets the code requirement, even though I think you could make a reasonable assumption there's not enough parking for that new restaurant. So I think the issue is only going to percolate some more. I know neighbors in that area have expressed an interest that if it becomes permit parking on those streets, they're going to push to have permit parking on the other streets as well. So I don't think the issue is going to go away. So that's just my 2 cents worth.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
Okay, thank you.
We need to not get into deliberation of a matter that's not itemized on our agenda.
I understand. Thank you.
Thank you, legal. Any other comments? Any other discussions? We had a short meeting. Thank you. Appreciate everybody being here.
You're on.
Commissioners, staff. We have a meeting. We have a motion. We have a motion to adjourn. Have a second. All in favor? We are adjourned.